before they even hit the floor of that den. And that is the word of the Lord.
Amen.
Because you only knew your word.
Amen.
You value your soul. So when I think about why God gave me this, I feel like all of the stories that I heard you ladies speak about was about dark places that you've been in. And it seemed like a lot of us are in this like after phase. We got out of it, so now we're trying to figure out what's next. And in the midst of figuring out what's next, there becomes a lot of confusion. People around you start looking at you because you're trying to better your life. They start making you feel like, why are you being so hard on yourself? Why you? Why are you going to a church event on a Friday? You know, why are you coming to all these women conferences? You go to so many women's conferences. You don't come out with your friends no more. Oh, you writing a book? Oh, okay. You want to go out and get a drink? Oh, I know you got a deadline, but it's a lot of that. People trying to stop you when you're on a mission.
Amen.
So I value and really admire Daniel's character. He was a leader, he was a good moral, he was a good character, he was confident, he was a vegetarian, meaning he cared about what he ate, y'all. I ain't talking about nobody.
That's right.
Amen.
You only do your work, you value your soul, your temple, your being, your spirit, your everything. I'm still working it out because I know God has given me a new plan to eat some new things. And I've been testing it and I'm like, we getting there. He had a good reputation. He was just that dude, like Jay-Z say, ask about him.
Yup.
Just that dude, ask about him.
Yup.
So, King Darius, let me tell you a little bit about Daniel. This is Daniel's third hoorah, right? So I'm using the number 3 a lot because my book is called 3 Rings and a Promise. I was engaged 3 times, 3 failed engagements. I'm still not married to this day, but that's okay. God is still working a plan out for me.
Amen.
God is still building me. Number 3 represents the number of, it biblically represents completeness, wholeness. It represents perfection, actually.
Amen.
Until you get your story right. It took 3 rings for me to realize that I wasn't whole. It took me to go around, just like you said, God is linear, everything else is circular. I had to go around the circle 3 times in order for each moment to get more severe, in order for me to get it in my head. I don't know how many times y'all had to go around in a circle, but how many times you had to go through it, you're not stupid, you're not dumb. It was for a purpose.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen.
So this is the 3rd king that Daniel is now working for. And Daniel, just like all the other kings before King Darius, Daniel had outperformed all the admins, all the officials, all the enchanters, all the magicians, all the people that tried to make it seem like they could serve the king for his needs. And let me tell y'all, whenever Daniel approached these kings, something bad happened to them. King Nebuchadnezzar, he died after Daniel. Exactly what Daniel told him in a dream happened. And King Belshazzar, he died. He was murdered immediately that night.
Yeah.
So here we are with King Darius. I don't know if y'all know, but King Darius, after he realized he signed this law and that Daniel was a person that was committed of the crimes, he ran back into his room and started fasting. He's not stupid. He's like 2 kings before me fell to their knees and died after they encountered this man. God, not me. I didn't mean it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that when good things are happening in your life and you're trying to better your life and you're trying to get to the next step and trying to make sure that you don't end up repeating what you just got yourself out of, everybody not happy for you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Some people even so envious of you. You don't even get it. They so envious of you, they want you dead. They know that they can't even be in your presence because your presence takes away their oxygen.
Amen.
Exactly.
It's not even a physical death, because some of y'all like, I'm still here. It's that spiritual death.
Yes, indeed.
They can't stand your spirit. The smell of your spirit makes them shake.
Sick to their stomach.
What they're trying to do is the devil don't want your job, he don't want your money, he don't want your car, he don't want your weed boo, he don't want your bunnies, okay? He wants your mind.
Yup.
And once he gets in your mind, he can force your mind to assassinate your own spirit.
Yes.
Right, that's right. That's right.
Asani said she stayed stuck in a place for 10 years. The enemy can get in our mind with one concept and it can build. It can build for perversion, and as she said, it goes into lust. It can go into homosexuality, it can go into pornography, it can go into masturbation. I suffered with the issue of sexual addiction. I felt like sex was love for me. If I didn't give him sex, I wouldn't get his love. That was the exchange for me back then. I'm not going back to that.
Amen.
And when women ask me all the time, my friends, or people that call themselves my friends, oh, you're not hanging out with us anymore. Oh, we feel this way. Oh, this, oh, that. I'm going somewhere, bro.
Amen.
I'm going somewhere. I'm leveling up. Yes, Sierra just came up with that song. Ooh, Sierra just came out with that song. But guess what? We are leveling up. That is why we are here today. People are so envious of you. They tried to set Daniel up. They tried to get into his mind. They thought that this religion thing, that's what they call it, y'all. The God thing, this religion
That God
thing
thing.
is only in his mind. So, you know, somebody, I want to be a fool like Daniel, that because when he heard that they signed this law into effect, he went to his house and he opened the windows, left the doors open, all for the town to see him pray 3 times a day.
Amen.
3 times a day. And he basically, I believe in this prayer, he said, God, tell him come get me. Because they thinking that it's all in the mind. They thinking that it's only a private relationship with God. It ain't never been private. It's only personal. They thinking that it's only a religion, but it was never about religion, God. It was about relationship. They thinking that this is about, and I'm going to bring it to present day. They thinking that my religion is based on Instagram and Facebook and based on these relationship goals. But it ain't about that. It's about relationship. God, tell him throw me in the den. I dare them to throw me in the den. I dare them to throw me in the den.
All right
If
now.
you only knew your worth. If you only knew your worth. If you only knew the reason you went through your story. If you only knew the reason why you had to give your body up before. I'm talking to you, Crystal. If you only knew. Renee, if you only knew the reason you had to have your baby boy before marriage. If you only knew. But Sonny, if you only knew the reason you had to go through everything you had to go through. If you only knew, Sonia, the reason you had to go through a divorce. If you only knew. Baby girl, if you only knew why you had to write that story at the age of 16, because there's a 13-year-old
Tell it,
If you only knew what the enemy was trying to kill inside of you.
That's
I'm
right.
trying to tell you, you value your soul more.
That's right.
You ain't ugly because of your scars. Your scars and your story do not define you. Guess what? They tried to confine you and it failed. Send it back to the pit of hell when the enemy's trying to get in your mind.
That's right.
If you only knew. Religion equals rules. That's not God. God wants relationship.
That's
He
right.
wants relationship. He wants you. He don't care if you didn't fast, if you forgot to fast on a Sunday. He don't care. He just wants your time. If you only knew. People are trying to get you to assassinate your own spirit. And when I say your own spirit, they're trying to assassinate the Jesus in you.
That's
They
right.
don't care.
They
They don't care. It's us. We're trying to figure out our purpose, but when people encounter us, they already know our purpose. These men were not stupid. Some people are afraid to get in your presence
That's
because
right.
they know that you can take away their oxygen.
Amen.
I'm going to say it again.
Amen.
What did they do? They manipulated the king to do it. They saw what happened to 2 prior kings. They saw that 2 prior kings died. So they sent King Darius in the plan, was like, let's see if this works for him. And if it don't, at least he'll die and it won't be on us. There are people that are sending people your way indirectly
That's right.
to approach you because they can't handle the Jesus in you. Say that.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
Sometimes you think it's your boss coming to bother you, but it was your coworker that said something about you.
All along.
It was your
All
coworker
right.
that told them something about you. Your boss wasn't even thinking about you. You like, my boss keep bothering me. It's that coworker that be in your face and want to get coffee with you. I'm trying to tell you, I'm talking to somebody in here.
Amen. Amen.
What's the point? You don't know who you are. We don't know who we are. We're so hard on ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves. It took a long time for me to even confess that I had an abortion. I finally came out about my abortion last year at my book launch. I didn't tell my mother, and when I told her probably like a week or 2 before I even had the event. I wanted her to know